Welcome everybody. We are here doing domain, range, and function, whether or not it is a function or not. So we're going to look at this a little bit closer. You can see that there's an arrow here as well as an arrow here. So that is going to be helpful for us in a few minutes. And we do see that there is a break here in between here. So the first thing I'm going to be focusing on is whether or not is that a function or not. So if I have a function is where the x coordinate is not repeated with a different y value. So it can be repeated, but the y has to be the exact same in that case. So when I'm looking at this, I can either use a vertical line test and prove whether or not it is a function, and because x does not repeat itself in this problem, it is a function. So we just answer this as yes. Now we're going to talk about the domains and the ranges. The domains are the x coordinates on this problem. So we look at left to right, or least to greatest in this case, of where it starts. So now we see that the x value stops at -2. It is a closed circle on -2, so that means it includes it. So if I'm writing this in an equality statement, I would say that my x can be -2. Oops, it would help if I wrote this the right way. Cross this off for a second. X can be -2, or it's going to be less than -2. So it can be any of these values and the negatives. This is why you're not supposed to do this in pen. But because there is a gap on the x coordinates, we are going to be writing an or statement. And then we see that it does equal 2, and then it can be greater numbers than 2. It is continuous, so that means that all numbers are included in this. So anything that's equal to 2 or greater than 2. Again, that could be 2.007, whatever you want to do. So now I have to do interval notation. So when you're looking at this, we are looking at the range values. So this one, our values of this is at -infinity, right? It can go, it's going in the negative direction forever and ever and ever. And it stops at -2, and it includes -2. So when we do that, -infinity would be the stopping point. It doesn't really stop. So when we use infinity and -infinity in interval notation, we put like parentheses around it. And then it's going to stop here at -2. It's a hard stop. So we put -2, and then we put a hard bracket around it. And then we have or, and then we're going to start again. So this starts at 2. It's a hard bracket because it includes 2. And then it goes forever and ever and ever in the positive direction. So we've got an infinity. Now, sorry, if we take a look at the range on this, that's the y values. So this never stops going down. It never stops going up. And right here, even though there's a gap on the x's, there's no gap on the y's. This is at -2, so is this. So every number is included on the y-axis. So this would be all real numbers. So if I wanted to write, write all real numbers here, you just put the big fancy R, and then we're writing the interval notation -infinity to +infinity. Again, parentheses around both these. And that would be how you complete this problem. If you want more questions like these, you can find them on my YouTube, Instagram, and TikTok at YouWantAlgebra. These are all going to be located on the function or not section.